Hey you guys, welcome to this WTF yoga tip on stretching for the hips. So in BJJ lately, well not lately, but in general, I tend to watch people do some stretches and we go through a series of stretches in the warm-up. And I just want to talk about modifications that we can use to make the stretches more effective if we don't already have the mobility to do the stretches, which is very often the case. And yes, the mobility will come over time, but if we can learn to use the modifications and be more effective with the stretches, that mobility will come quicker than if we just continue to push through. So the stretch that I want to talk about today is the low lunge stretch. So this one, a runner's lunge, it's great. I did a video not too long ago about the same thing, about making sure that the alignment in this lunge is correct. So the knee is above or slightly forward of the ankle, so that the pelvis, the hips can shift forward and down, and you can take that stretch on the top of the right thigh or the top of the back leg. And being in fists while you hold this, or even taking the foot out a little bit wider so that you can have the arms to the inner edge of the leg. Now this helps the stretch cross through the inner thigh on the front leg, across the groin into the top and inner thigh of the back leg. Now typically in the stretching routine that we do at BJJ, we go from here and then we shift back and we straighten this front leg, and we have this back leg in this sort of position, so as if we were working towards the splits. So we take this back leg as far back as we can, and then we fold forward over this leg. Now, not only am I a woman and do I have more ligaments in my pelvis than a man does, but I'm also a yoga instructor, so I have more flexibility than your typical person might have. So what I see a lot is people stuck in this sort of position, and there's some rounding that happens. They can't really get to their foot. And it's because that inner thigh isn't letting it kind of open out. And then once the flexibility is going to begin at the base, so once the inner thigh and the groin release, then the pelvic floor can start to release, and then you'll start to find the ability to come forward into a fold. So how we can work to change this and shift this and get this mobility, this flexibility quicker. For one, when we're forward in this lunge, what we can do is we can kind of rotate that back knee out, right? So that's going to target deeper into my inner thigh and up into the groin. If it's hard on the knee, you definitely want to be on a well-padded floor. So holding here for a moment, and also a little bit of internal rotation on that back knee to target opening up through here. And then you're working the whole ability of the pelvis, the range of motion of the pelvis to increase. That means if you go from here and shift back, you're going to be in a better position to get more range of motion here. Now, if you are not, what I actually suggest doing is bending this front knee a little bit and then taking that back leg as far out as you can. For some of us, it might just be a few degrees at a time. It still might be here, but when you come forward, you're going to be training the pelvis to work in the right and the left side of the pelvis, to work as a team together to eventually open up the mobility and bring that leg back. And you'll increase the flexibility while still warming up the pelvis in the stretch. So modifications that you can make once in the lunge, and I'll do on the opposite side so you can see. Once in the lunge, you can do external rotation on that back knee to target, again, the inner thigh and the groin. You can do internal rotation on that back knee to target more in the area of the hip flexors and the TFL on the back leg. And then when you come back here, if you can't sit up and get a lot of mobility in this back leg, then bend the front leg a little bit and then move the back leg a little bit further back and come forward over that front leg. And you're going to open up this right hip as well as the groin. So stretches can move very easily crossways through the body. And for optimal hip flexibility, I guess, You want it to be able to move from the front to the back on the opposite side, or from the back to the front on the opposite side. But you think about all of those flexibility connections moving through the groin, the pelvic floor, the pubic bone, and the sacrum. And that's your stabilization point to open up from. So give that a go the next time you're doing stretches. This doesn't just apply for Jiu Jitsu, this applies for any type of serious tightness that you have in that area. Let us know if you have any questions. If you are interested in doing more videos, check out WTFyoga.com and go ahead and subscribe. Have a great day.